another episode of Your Bridge to Addiction Resources. My name is Jennifer Kaucher, and I'm your host for today for this show brought to you by the Council on Chemical Abuse and the People Chronicles. And we are continuing to talk about prevention education in the classroom, and today I have a teacher with me from Northwest. We're very excited to have you. Can you just introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about what you do at Northwest?
My name is Megan Faust. I teach 6th and 7th grade special ed kids for learning support. For social studies and for English.
Okay. And so you have prevention education in your classroom. It's Paige that's come into your classroom, right? Teaching life skills. Yeah. So can you just tell me a little bit about what it's like to have
She's wonderful. The kids love her. Like she's got very good rapport with the kids and everything like that. So I mean they like her a lot.
Yeah.
You know? And she teaches them good life skills that they will have, like how to get out of like peer pressure, things like that.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So.
And you said it's learning support. So is this stuff, do you feel like this is information you're able to integrate into the classroom, not just when she's there too?
Yeah.
And keep talking about?
Yeah, because like if there's a conflict between two kids, we try to do what's called like peer mediation.
Yeah.
So we'll take that into like the guidance classroom and stuff like that. Or if I just have them, I had to do that 3 times this year with a group of kids because there was a problem with bullying.
Yeah.
But she touched on that and everything like that. So I mean, it goes into everyday life for them. So it definitely crosses over for them.
That's great. And so I heard you wrote a little list of things. So I would love to hear just a little bit about what the students are learning, like what you feel like they're gaining from this education.
Well, I think it kind of cracks me up, actually. I thought there would be more issues as far as them like knowing about cigarettes, drugs, things like that, and they don't, and they ask all these questions to her, and she's very, very open with them about it. So I mean, she touches on drugs and alcohol, and things like that, and just more kind of like having like if somebody comes up to you and says to you, hey, I want to fight you or something like that, like refusal skills, things like that. So I mean, she really does touch on that. So and then they take it out into the world. So And so as a teacher in the classroom, what have you learned from this? Has it been a good experience for you and just learning? Yeah, I mean, it really has, because it's made it easier to communicate with the kids, because kind of like if y'all have like an iMessage back and forth, I feel this way, don't do this to me, then we're all communicating in the same way.
Yeah.
So we can all kind of at least have a consensus going on.
Been able to do that. That's great. And we're excited to have it in the classrooms because it's 6th and 7th graders, and that's such a pivotal age.
It is.
In what they're experiencing. So is there anything else that you want to share from what you've
I mean, she
seen?
also touches on like, improving like self-image and kind of like, looking at other people, you might not understand them exactly. Yeah. But kind of like looking at them from a different perspective, like they're not the same as you, but you can at least still like them, for what they are and that kind of thing. And just, overall resolving conflicts, that kind of thing. So.
Yeah. That's great. So how do you feel like the involvement with you being a teacher, how do you feel like that's impacted you in the classroom?
Well, one of the things that she did that was really cool, she'll use my computer sometimes, which is fine. Yeah. And so she put on, I forget which commercial it was, but it was, I can't think of the girl's name, but anyway, it was an alcohol commercial. Yeah. And it was like a really pretty girl, and she was like all trying to entice, and I was like, I didn't even realize that I know that they market things, but the kids were just like, that's what they do? Oh yeah, she is pretty. Oh, we are looking at that. That's why we like this, that kind of thing. So she does different stuff for them and kind of like opens
to open
them up.
Their eyes too, and then you're learning
and
too.
Me too. Yeah, I was just like, whoa, I had no clue. So
it's something that, that's great, because I talked to Paige in the interview. You're either listening to this before or after this one, but she loves that part because it is so important for them to understand how the media is affecting them, because they're hearing messages from the media all the time. Right. But then too, as an educator, I'm sure that helps, because then you understand how the kids are being affected. So you can kind of have that conversation with them.
Well, and she also had the conversation too, like sneakers are a big thing.
Yeah.
Sneakers are huge. So, and the marketing techniques for that, like she brought out, she's like, do you see how it's the same as, the alcohol, the drugs, the tobacco products and stuff like that. Yeah. So that was like, and they were like, oh yeah, now they'll probably still buy shoes, but it's better than the other stuff.
Yeah, go with that. So do the kids tend to ask questions to you, like when she's not in the classroom? Does conversation come up?
She has such a good rapport with them. I mean, they're really, really open with her. Every once in a while, I'll get a question, like if we're talking about a subject and somehow or another there's like an interlude to something.
Yeah.
It gets brought up, like, what about this? But overall, I mean, they're just like, well, what about this? Why does that happen? Blah, blah, blah. And she directly answers them in a very appropriate way. So it's really good.
That's great. And so really, if there's anything else that you want to share about your experience and how it's been for you being in the classroom while this is happening.
Right. Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's an excellent program. I'm glad that she can come in, and she tends to hit like every single point, like not just drugs and alcohol, but I mean just like conflict resolution, things like that, things that they're always going to use. So I mean, and for me then, like I said, I mean, it's just a consensus then of how we communicate with one another back and forth. I'm going to use an iMessage with you. I'm going to do this. That way we're all on the same page.
And it sounds like the kids, for the most part, are pretty receptive to it.
They are.
I'm sure there's times, just like all the time, where there's rowdiness that happens in the classroom.
Right.
But it sounds like they really enjoy having...
And I have the advantage of I have small group. Okay. So, I mean, so they're very engaged, with that. And that's why all the hands are going up. But what about this? And she's like, hold on, wait a second, hold on. Because it's like, they just want to know. So.
Yeah, and it gives them that outlet that they may not have someone else they could ask about
plus,
that.
too, I think they feel comfortable with her because they're not going to go home and ask their parents. They're probably not going to come up to, the average adult and be like, hey, this is going on in my life. What do I do about this? But with her, they can
Since
do
she's
it with
specifically
her.
talking about that, you can see that change how their relationship with her is different than their relationship with you or another teacher.
Right.
It creates that environment. Yeah, that's a great way to think about it.
Really
I hadn't thought about that before.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us. Yeah. If you want to learn more information about our prevention education, you can give us a call at 610-376-8669 or check out our website at cocoburks.org. Thanks so much for tuning in. Check back every week for a new story with your Bridge to Addiction resources. You can call 610-376-8669 or visit online at cocoburks.org. COCABERKS.org. Be sure to like and follow the Council on Chemical Abuse on Facebook and Twitter.